This is Brian, and welcome back to this commentary playthrough of Final Fantasy II for the NES. Alright, we're making our way through Pandemonium here. I think we're pretty close to the end. These look like they're probably just those arches, the fake ones we saw before, but I'll check all of them, I think, just to make sure there isn't some kind of a secret passage or hidden item in there. Shouldn't take too long. There's a treasure. Older IQ. Another item we have to use in battle, it looks like. I think we should be able to handle this in one round. Yep, there we go. Oh, there's a teleport pad, it looks like. Probably have to go all the way around the room to get to it, I suppose. I guess maybe I could have got this in one round. I didn't really trust Maria and Leon to be strong enough to handle them on their own. And who knows, they might not have been able to get this wolf guy anyway. Right? Let's try this, see if we can get them all. Yeah, good enough. I don't think that's an... yeah, that's not an upgrade for anybody at this point. Okay, Maria can handle a wolf devil on her own at least. Unless I just got lucky. Yeah, sometimes when you don't use magic, your intelligence does go down, but getting pretty close to the top for everybody on everything. I don't think 73 is too bad for intelligence. She's got 74. Yeah. Another floor here. Can't hit the bombs in the back row with physical attacks this round anyway. Doesn't really matter. By that I mean it didn't matter what I had Guy do here, because Gigas should be dead by the time it gets to his turn. Well, we got two paths here. I'll stay on the bottom first here. There's a treasure. Oh yeah, dump some stuff again. Probably don't have too many treasures left. Now it's just a hellfire. Oh. I don't think... Yeah, I guess we might have faced a thunder one of these guys before. Put my two biggest hitters on him. See if we can do it without magic. I don't really remember what element was going to work against him anyway. Yeah. One round with all of them hitting him should be plenty. I hope. There we go. Let's go up here. Got another branch here, it looks like. Let's check over here. Try an arrow on him at least and see what that does for Maria. And that's pretty good. Alright, yep. That was enough to get us done with him in one round. That's all I really wanted. I'm guessing this wraps around to where I was before. Yeah, that was the first path choice I made here. Dragon Bean. I guess that would probably be another one that we have to use in battle. Yeah. Can't even remember if we'd seen one of those before or not. I kind of feel like maybe we did. Right? This connects to that other path that I saw. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want her to use ice on the bomb. No, that's not any better than what we have. I think this was like a big open room. You just gotta find the tile to warp to the next floor. Another fight done. Okay. Is that like a ledge we can fall off of? I don't know. Almost looks like it's kind of like a void or something. Okay, and there's a warp tile. Another one of these behemoths. It's got kind of like a weird fin on his back. Seems like something you'd see on a dragon. Yeah. Figured physical would be good enough. We were doing decent damage on him. No, it's not any better than what we've had. Okay, I think this is like the end here. We're pretty close. But one thing I am gonna do, I have been saving these now. I'm gonna equip my blood swords. And I think you can change your equipment in battle if you have the sword in your item menu here. I don't think we'll need to, but just in case I'm wrong about this. Alright, and let's... Everybody has plenty of magic, so I'm not really worried about who I'd use to heal us up here. Don't need that much anyway. Also, I mean, there could be more than one battle here. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you just walk forward. Okay, so at least got a couple battles. Let's see how well those blood swords do against somebody else like this. Probably not going to do much. I can always just use arrow, though, against him. Okay, that actually did pretty good. Okay, there we go. And that just started automatically. I didn't press anything. So at last you've made it. Prepare for the fight of your life. Alright. Well, let's see if these blood swords are gonna work. And maybe Ultim will finally do some damage on somebody here. Okay, not terrible. Oh, yeah. So, I guess, want a little more of a challenge. Maybe don't use the blood swords. Yeah, let's just attack. He's probably not going to last more than a couple rounds here at that rate. Oh, and we finished him with 106. Victory is ours. I was beaten twice? How can it be? Wah! Let's get out of here. Alright, so it just takes us back. Kind of walking weird, the rest of them except for Furion. I don't know how much of a post or an ending scene they have here. You did it! Congratulations! Oh, you came back. I'm impressed. Well, thanks, Paul. Pirate life is great. Come back whenever you want. Layla, she's still... So yeah, she survived. She was one of the few fourth party members we got who made it. Congratulations. So there's a typo. Should have been congratulations, I suppose. Daddy would be happy. Yeah, that was Joseph's daughter. What the hell? Hey, Joseph was dead, but I guess, came back to life somehow, or is that his ghost? Joseph! Guess they were just seeing things, maybe? We will work to rebuild the world. Farewell! So, did they, like, adopt Nellie, maybe? I don't know. Seemed kind of weird. So everything is finished. So it seems. Let's live together again. That seems weird, too. I don't know what she means by that. Brother? We know too much about each other now. It can never go back to the way it was. Guy? Why? Wait, please stop him, Furion. He's right. I can't stop him. Guy? Someday, I promise. Okay, so there's all of our dead compadres. I guess. Quite a few casualties in this game. The world needs us. Let us move on. And so the era of war came to an end. In time, the long and hard days would be forgotten. But people would always remember the children who saved the world. To the souls of the poor, their friendship will never be forgotten. And we got credits. I guess it's just going to be their character portraits showing up in the crystal orb here. I don't know if there'll be more than that. Maybe. Maybe they'll take us around to show us all the towns again or something. Although this was a regular NES game, so there's probably not a lot. These days when you beat a game, there's like some of them you get like an hour-long ending cutscene, it seems like. And some of those are pretty good. Especially if you spend over 100 hours playing a game, it's nice to see a cinematic ending. I mean, this is a game that if you want to be a completionist, you could pretty easily put in 100 hours if you just wanted to get your magic levels up, and like if you wanted to get all your weapon levels up for each character. Take a little while. But yeah, obviously I would recommend waiting to do most of that grinding until you have your final characters, final 4 party members. When you get Leon or Guy or whatever his name is supposed to be back. And yeah, they're going through the character portraits of more than just our 4 party members. It's also, so far at least, it's been the optional party members that we had for a while. I don't think other characters, NPCs, had portraits like that, so I don't think we'll probably see anybody else other than people who actually joined the party. Yeah, that's when Leon was the Dark Knight, I think. I believe if you play like the PSP version or some of the later ports of this game, they also had some post-game material. But I don't think there's anything in this version. It was just regular NES, so that's going to be it. The end. Congratulations, we made it. Well, with that, I'm just going to give a few closing thoughts here about the game. A few good points and a few bad points, pros and cons. I did like the fact that this game added more material, so it made it a longer game. There are a lot more dungeons to explore, as far as compared to the first game. So, I mean, it was an evolution in that way. It progressed everything. There was a more developed story, I mean, more character interaction. There wasn't much as far as dialogue in the first game, but I mean, liked that. It's just, they just added to it. That's generally how things go with video games, I suppose. Another good point was the introduction of some new staple characters that kind of stayed through most of the games, if not all of the future games in the series. Like we got Sid here, the first one, the airship guy. There's some form of Sid in I think almost every other mainline game at least. Probably some of the side games as well. And we got Chocobos here for the first time. Didn't have too much of a role in this game. There was just that one Chocobo forest. And the Chocobo music was pretty limited, but still nice to see them get their start here. Got to start somewhere. What else do we got? Some of the staple enemies that we've seen in later games came in here, like the Behemoth, the Iron Giant, I think we saw. Arboros, even if they called them something slightly different. So a lot of those enemies made their appearance in several of the other later games. So it was nice to see the start here for them. Now, I think that's about all I have offhand to say good about the game. Don't get me wrong, I consider this kind of a middle of the line kind of game. It's not my favorite, not my worst. As far as Final Fantasy games go, yeah, it'd probably be towards the bottom, but that's mostly just because a lot of these games are pretty good. So some of the bad stuff here was, and this is kind of just based on preference as well, but I didn't really like the way that you have to level up magic because it just took too long. I don't necessarily mind the mechanic if it would have been faster, but it took a lot of casts of spells to get a level, especially once you got to the higher levels, depending on the enemy parties you were fighting. If you want to look up that whole mechanic, you can. But yeah, it depends on the rank of enemies you were fighting for how fast your weapon levels go up. And I think it goes based upon the lowest ranked enemy in a fight when you get into a fight. So that's another reason you want to wait till closer to the end of the game, probably to do a lot of that leveling. Another thing is the dungeons in this game. They were very kind of repetitive and long. Long's not necessarily bad, but the limitations they had here is they were mostly just square floors with just mazy tunnels through them, and in the doors, the empty rooms, the doors that led to the empty rooms was, I would consider, a negative, just because there were so many of those rooms that ended up being dead ends and empty, to the point where, I mean, if you're getting frustrated with that or losing your patience, you might just start skipping them. And some of them actually had some pretty decent equipment in them, so I don't want to check all of them still, but that's just me. And there were a few parts in the game, like I wouldn't consider this game extremely difficult. A lot of people do, but I think that's mostly just, for me, it's partially because I'm not as familiar with it as compared to some other Final Fantasy games. So on a first-time playthrough, or just second or third, which I think it is for me, still aren't really used to the gameplay in it, maybe, or the battle system, and you forget where some of the difficulty spikes come in. But there were a few areas where I was going through a dungeon, seemed like I was doing fine, and then you'd run into a boss where your levels for statistics and weapons just weren't high enough, and you couldn't do any damage to them. So you're just kind of screwed that way. I don't really like that. If you know it's coming, then you can prepare and get your magic levels up or your weapon levels up. It's just me, just saying. I think some of the later versions of the game probably smoothed that out a little bit. Might have made the leveling a little faster. I don't know for sure, though. It's been a while since I played one of the other versions, too. This is kind of more of a nitpick, not that it made it bad necessarily, but it just bothered me a little bit. The fact that you didn't have a separate item menu for special items, because by the end of the game, half of my inventory was filled with special items that you can't get rid of. And since the items didn't stack, it really limited how much stuff you could carry. In the end, it didn't end up making too much of a difference for us, but yeah, I mean, there were several times where I'd have to stop and throw stuff away just because, well, I didn't have any room to pick up the new treasures. Also, along those lines, it's just a small nitpick would be like the world map, which it was nice that you could get it, and it was different that it was round, but it was so slow to scroll through it. Like if you were trying to look at something on the other side of the map, you're going to have to sit there and hold the button down for probably a minute or two. I don't have that much patience for that kind of thing. I'd rather just go explore on my own or look up a map online or something. And early on, didn't notice it so much later, just because when I did a couple of my grinding sessions, I got items that sold for so much. But early on, it was really hard to get enough gold to buy everything. Skill in the game, I can't remember which one now even. But yeah, the enemies didn't drop much gold, and the rate at which they dropped it is variable. Like an enemy doesn't drop just a set amount of gil or gold. It can vary, like a goblin. After you defeat it, it could drop anywhere from 4 to 12 maybe, let's say. So I don't really like that it's variable like that. I'd rather have a set amount so I kind of know what I'm getting into, know what to expect from a fight and how many fights I'll need to do. But that's kind of a nitpick too. Not a big thing. I think that's about all I have to say. Overall, yeah, I'd still rate it as a pretty good game. I still enjoyed my playthrough here. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Next, we're going to be moving on to Final Fantasy III in this time slot, so pick up with part 1 tomorrow. And I plan on doing the NES version of that as well, just because I want to do the original versions. If I get enough playthroughs on the channel here, eventually I might, and if there's enough interest in it, I might eventually go back and do some of the different ports or versions of some of these older games. But for now, we're just going to go forward. Yeah, and I mean, another thing is just, you know, they did make quite a few changes to this game, and Final Fantasy kind of does that compared to some other series like Dragon Quest, where they kind of keep it the same. Final Fantasy does change things quite a bit between games. But I mean, some of that is they try new things, and if it doesn't work, they'll get rid of it. But what does work, they'll kind of keep in the next series and make changes like that. So I kind of like that. But we're going to call it there for today, though. So remember, if you've been enjoying the content so far, please like, comment, and subscribe or follow. And we'll catch you next time.